walking through wind, chill up on my skin, through rain, through clouds, through calm, through storm, through struggle, my friend. Nevertheless, I'm in, Muslim to the end. Through rain, through clouds, through calm, through storm, through struggle, till it ends.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and peace be unto you. Welcome to Islamic Learning with Masjid As-Sabur. I am Adrian, Jasper, hosting today. First of all, Masjid As-Sabur, we are located at 4921 15th Avenue, which is off of Stockton Boulevard here in Sacramento. And we have Friday prayer services every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Everyone's welcome to come and listen, learn, ask questions. We're here for you. And also, we have a website, www.masjidassabur.org. You can check us out and get some information there, contact us, say hi, whatever. So today, we are going to talk about, the topic of our show today is Muhammad Ali, God the Greatest made him great. As you all know by now, June 3rd, Muhammad Ali passed away at age 74. And of course, the greatest boxer of all time, but even beyond that, one of the greatest human beings that, in our time. He was our brother in faith and loved by people all over the world. And we're just here today, not just by Muslims, by Christians, Jews, people of no faith, but he was just loved by many people. So we're here today just to talk a bit about his life and honor his life today. So we have two guests from our community. We have Brother Aleem Shabazz and Brother Omar Shareef. And Brother Aleem Shabazz has an organization called a newsletter. It's a sports newsletter called Crescent Sports. And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Crescent Sports was developed years ago to provide an outlet for Muslim athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Many other communities have support. And so a brother named Marmadou Bilal Kente, who was the founder and I'm the co-founder, started this organization so that the Muslim athletes could have support and have community support and have youth programs.
Okay, and now you did an event where Muhammad Ali actually attended, and it was 2010. We have some photos we're going to share. So what tell us about that event.
Well, that event was in Portland, Oregon, and it was by Brian Grant Foundation. Brian Grant played for the Kings, and he also played for Portland. He was also diagnosed with Parkinson. And so once he was diagnosed, he started to have programs, exercising programs, diet programs, and so he put on this gala event for Muhammad Ali and others who have Parkinson. I mean, it was well attended. The athletes were tremendous supporting Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell, and others. Rasheed Wallace, and they really showed love for him. And I really like to thank Lonnie, his wife, for many years. She have made sure that Muhammad would not be laying in the bed. And so I think she really needs to be recognized also as someone, as a woman who has really have took care of her man.
Okay. So Brother Omar, have you ever met Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, I've had a couple occasions to be honored with meeting Muhammad Ali back in, I'm going to guess the year, in the 1970s, I'll just say it like that. I was in Philadelphia, a member of the Nation of Islam. And at that time, Minister Jeremiah Shabazz was the minister of Philadelphia, which we call 12. Their temple was Temple 12. And on occasions, he and Muhammad Ali were very good friends. And on occasions, he would take a couple of us up to his camp. And we would go up there because Muhammad Ali used to like to have the brothers to come up to be around him before his fights, just to get his spirit going and get him up. So I've had 2 occasions to do that, and other occasions to meet him, actually once here in Sacramento, to not meet, but to be in his presence and acknowledge him. I didn't know him intimately like many people have, but like many, many people who have met him, I was blessed to have had the time to meet him. Yes.
So when you first heard that he passed, what went through your mind?
Allahu Akbar. God is the greatest. Muhammad Ali was a brother who affected practically everyone on this planet in some way. He was one brother that I would say was the most renowned individual that the world has seen in recent times. And Muhammad Ali touched everybody's life in a positive way, except those he got in the ring. No, how did it impact me? I would say it was, I wasn't sad, not at all. See, we got to understand that when God takes a special person like that everybody almost emotionally depends on for their positive spirit, that we can't look at that as though God has taken something from us. We have to see it as God has given us something. And what he gave us was that spirit that Muhammad Ali exuded. And so him taking Allah was a blessing for him, to take him out of the uncomfortable situation that he was living in, meaning his Parkinson's,
Right.
Though he loved life regardless. And for us, it was a blessing because now the memory of him rekindled and sparked the positive energy and spirit that he exuded and he elicited from us, because the world has been in so much turmoil lately, and so much negativity has been in the media and in the atmosphere and in the world. That is when God is showing his mercy, when he takes someone like that from us, and then it forces us to think about and dwell and contemplate on this man's life, which then rekindles a positive spirit in humanity.
So he left, so much. He put in his work. He put in work.
Yeah, he put in work.
work.
That's right. He put in
So,
work.
as a Muslim, what do you most take from his life that you can emulate for your life, and as far as his?
Well, you got to understand, I'm a little older than some of you, but so that means that Muhammad Ali and I share the historical experience that we both went through, and that is the Nation of Islam, because that was what it's had. That's what had the impact in my life, as well as the impact it had in his life. If you recall historically, it was Malcolm X, Malik Shabazz, Al-Haji, Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, who I think initially introduced Islam to Malcolm X, and introduced the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to him. And so, in my experience, I had a different route, but that same introduction was given to me. So Muhammad Ali and myself were inspired by a man that really changed the course of history, and that is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And then had the beautiful experience, as I was talking about, we were saying about Muhammad Ali passing. Well, that same thing would be attributed to the passing of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because then that brought in Imam Muhammad, which we all know what that was. It brought us from a different experience of Islam to the original experience of Islam, which is the traditional religion that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he brought to humanity, that our God gave him to give us to humanity. So that was Muhammad Ali's connection in that regard, as well as all of us who came by that route to be introduced to the religion of Islam. Now, him personally, the impact he had on my life, I can remember when I first saw Muhammad Ali fight on television. I forgot who, it might have been Liston. And I can remember I'm in Chicago. I wasn't a Muslim. I'm in Chicago in my home with my family, and we're watching television. Back then, black and white, the little bitty screens. So, and he beat Liston, or it might have, I don't care who it was, but it was the fight where he said he no longer was going to be known as Cassius Clay, that he was from then forth to be known as Muhammad Ali. And I can remember at that time watching the television, saying, what is this brother talking about? And it's amazing because it was a bittersweet thing, because being raised a Christian and having that in you, when he made that statement, I said, what is wrong with this brother? It wasn't until years later, of course, as we grow and mature and learn our history and learn things, that we begin to understand why things are the way they are. So that was my first impression, impact of Muhammad. But I must say that it was, like I said, bittersweet, because I loved him because of what he brought. Not so much his boxing, but the spirit that he brought, the independence and the savoir-faire, the way he carried himself was such a breath of fresh air. It was such a wonderful thing to see on television. We didn't have too many African Americans on television during those days.
Yeah, that's true.
So for him to bring that kind of spirit to the TV, to the whole world in terms of media, that was like, wow, look at this brother here, And then he was so bold and brash. I said, this is my brother here. I like this man. I don't like what he did, but he changed his name. What is wrong with him? But I like him. So it was beautiful. That was my first impression and experience as far as his impact in my life. And what it did, it made most African American men stand up and put their shoulders back. Mm-hmm. And I say men, but of course sisters too. Right. But I say men because we were most affected by white supremacy and racism and all those things. So it gave us a boost to stand up, and he gave us that impetus to say, I'm a man. And you ain't going, I'm the greatest too, that kind of thing. So I don't know, let me go ahead, I'm sorry. So
Brother Aleem, you played football, right?
Yes.
College football.
Mm-hmm.
So as an athlete, when you would see him come out in the ring, in his sport, and not only talk about sports, but talk about things outside of sports, particularly when the Vietnam War was going on. And he came out and said, no Viet Cong. He came out and said, no, I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong.
No Viet Cong ever called me nigga.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. You get it out there.
So as an athlete, what was your thought when you heard something like that?
Well,
from another athlete.
And there was two people that made an impact in my life. One was Muhammad Ali, and the other was Gail Sayers. I'm about 10 years old, and I like football, and I like boxing because, as you know, kids emulate what they see.
Sure.
And so this is what, 10 years old, this is what I seen on TV as men getting publicity. And Muhammad Ali was getting
African American
men getting publicity.
Yeah.
And so, and then there was Gail Sayers, tremendous running back.
Arguably one of the best running backs ever.
Ever. Mm-hmm. And so, those were the two people that I emulated. And so, I was good in boxing. And then they would call me Little Ali because when I was little, I kind of looked like him. And so they would say, Little Ali. I'm doing like, yeah, that's right. So I was just like, riding the coattail. And told a few people,
I'm his son? No, you didn't do that, did you?
No. They wouldn't have believed me. Yeah. And I probably got jumped off from Compton. But what he gave the athlete was a model to be emulated.
Yes.
And so if I'm playing football, I'm either Gail Sayers. If I'm boxing, I'm Muhammad Ali.
I heard that.
And so, and you're right, he was a surrogate dad for all of us.
Right.
okay, or a surrogate big brother for all of us.
There you go.
Because we had, at that time, there was nobody on this earth that had ever challenged the U.S. government
That's right.
in anything and got away with it.
No African American.
No African American.
There you go.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, and really, American. I mean, there was
There've been some.
there've been some that's been, but on that level, saying no made the U.S. government do like what?
Mhm.
You know, I mean, and it echoed.
Yes.
It echoed.
Well, the thing about that is, and you bring an excellent point, and I want to clarify, there's been many Americans who have stood up and spoken against some of the American imperialisms and things of that nature, many Americans. But this was the first African American, and dare I say, Negro, because that's what we were taught, that's how we were identified back in those days, aside from being called nigger also. But he was the first Negro to have in that kind of context, like you were saying, to have the nerve to stand up against the American government, their ex-slave, and tell them he's not going to do something they tell him to do. And that was a beautiful thing.
Yeah. But as far as the athletes, when Muhammad did that, there were Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and
You can go on and on and on, I know.
and they stood behind him.
Yes, they did.
It happened then. It never happened again in America,
Right,
where all those athletes were willing to give up
right.
at the height of some of their careers.
There was Cassie Russell. It was Jim Brown, and who's the other one you named? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
They were right there at the table with Muhammad Ali.
Right.
Yes.
And that type of unity was
Not Cassie Russell, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell.
Please.
Yeah, Bill Russell.
I knew Cassie Russell. He was good too.
But he had an impact then, and most athletes of today don't know that much of what they do
Mhm.
comes from that inner strength of
That's
Muhammad
true.
Ali.
That's true. That's very true. Very well spoken.
So speaking of the Vietnam War, I have this. I want to share this with you guys. I have a copy of Jet magazine from 1967.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't born yet. I wasn't born yet. I was kind of coming in a couple of years. But anyway, on the cover of it, it says what soldiers think about Muhammad Ali's draft dispute. And so this is 1967 Jet magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And inside of it, it has it talks about some soldiers. It has comments from soldiers that are for him and against him. His decision to not go to the war.
Yeah.
And then also there's some fictional pictures. What if he had gone?
Oh my
What
God.
if he had gone into the military?
Right.
So
He
So I
would have been medaled down. Is that right?
yeah, so I thought that was interesting, and I've had this in my bookshelf for years. And when we were putting this show together, I said I think I have a Muhammad Ali in one of these old Jet magazines, and so yeah, there it was. There it is. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so what do you think Islam played in his
Well,
decision to not go to war?
or his decision not to go to war. Well, back again, also being of the Nation of Islam, we understood we were automatically conscientious objectors. So that was his position. Because in Islam, and even then with what we were taught in the nation, Muslims are never the aggressors. We're taught never to be the aggressor, and always come to the aid of those who are being oppressed and abused, or being terrorized. So that would be the motivation for any Muslim to reject going to a combat situation where the combatant is the aggressor, and that was at that time the United States. The United States government was the aggressor in Vietnam, and everyone knows that now. So he was perfectly correct, and Islamically, and as a human being, also as a citizen of the United States of America, to reject going to war where the United States was the aggressor, or oppressor, if you would. Yeah. So that, I think, Islam, as far as him, because if he had not been in the Nation of Islam, more than likely he would have enlisted and went on to the war. Well, more than likely, unless
he would have boxed.
Well, whatever. I'm saying he would have went into the service, and they probably would have averted him to boxing. But the point is, his image and his persona would have been used to support the war, and that's something he absolutely was not going to have, being a Muslim. So if Islam had, if that was in reference to Vietnam, that had a direct impact on him not going to the war. And of course, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
So I want to share a verse from the Quran. It's from chapter 3, verse 104. It reads, "Let there rise out of you a band of people, inviting to all that is good, enjoining what is right and forbidding what is wrong. They are the ones to attain felicity." So what do you think he did or said? What about his life that most exemplifies that verse to you?
Let there rise out of you a band of people, inviting all to good. Well, that just actually exemplifies his character and who he was as a human being, as an individual. You don't learn that. You are that. And so he was that before he came into the nation, and he was that once he came into the nation, and he was that once the transition came and he became a Muslim, in fact, in terms of how we take our shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammadan Rasulullah. There's no God but one God, and Muhammad, that is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is his messenger. Once he took that exemplified everything that he was.
And what are your thoughts on that verse and how he exemplified that verse?
Well, I think that anybody that have met Muhammad Ali, and he have made an impact on, it just amazed me that how could just one person, and you can literally say, affect millions of people. So no matter where it was, in Afghanistan, in China, Russia, Africa, when you have people that know of his name and the causes that he enjoined all over the world, good causes, and when he went to Iran, and I believe those soldiers, everything that he did was in the best of human interests.
You're talking about the time he went and brought the captive over there, brought him again. We had her released and brought her home.
Right.
Yes. I don't remember her name. I can't recall her name, but we all know the circumstances in which that occurred.
Yeah. Well, as a poet, of course, one of the things that really struck me about him was his wit with words. He was a master of words, and he could say more in a few words than some people can say, in a book.
Yes.
So and one of the funniest things that I read that he said was, if they can make penicillin out of moldy bread, they can surely make something out of you.
That's right.
So all you people out there, particularly you young people, there's hope for you. There's hope for you.
There's hope for all.
There's hope for all of us.
Right.
So we're going to continue this in our part 2 of our segment, and also we have an event that we're going to be a Muhammad Ali event that the community is going to be putting on. It's going to be coming up in July 23rd.
Yes.
Yeah. So listen out for that for details. And so thank you for tuning into Islamic Learning with Masjid As-Sabur. Again, we are located at 4921 15th Avenue off Stockton Boulevard. And our Friday prayer services at 1:30 p.m. are open to everyone. Come out and visit us, listen, learn, join us, meet us. And our website is www.masjidasabur.org. Again, thank you for tuning in, and God bless. And Muhammad Ali, and we love you forever. Assalamu alaikum.
You healed me on this day. Praise and praise to you. When I was feeling ill, praise and praise to you. Down with no direction, praise and praise to you.
I want to remind everyone, Masjid As-Sabur, 4926 15th Avenue. Our new masjid is gorgeous. We just finished planting over 100 plants in front of the masjid. We just got through cleaning up the kitchen and getting ready to clean up all of the wudu stations, and we want you to come and join us. Every Friday, 1:30 p.m., Masjid As-Sabur, Sacramento. We are also on the web, www.masjidassabur.org. And we're on Facebook, so please like us. Again, we thank you for your patience and your time. We want to remind you that God truly has a message for you. And we want to remind you that we are here to give you any help that you may need. As God has taught us, He is a merciful God. As long as you come to Him and ask forgiveness, He will forgive you. So no matter where you are in life, there is a